These Brock Purdy stats, when compared directly against Patrick Mahomes, are literally insane. I think people are going to be seriously questioning their reality, especially those who have highly doubted Brock Purdy throughout his career. They're not going to like this stat, and you're not going to like this video. So if you're one of those people, click out, exit stage left. If you're looking for Brock Purdy propaganda against him, this isn't the spot for you. Let's take a look at these numbers, shall we? They're absolutely insane. We know Brock is playing well, some of the best ball of his entire career, as he should be. He's heading into his second year as a starting quarterback, and he's only 24 years old. So you would expect someone on that trajectory to improve. Well, according to Front Office NFL, Brock Purdy has averaged twice as many air yards per attempt, 10 yards, than Patrick Mahomes, 5 yards this season. Twice as many. I thought that Brock Purdy was dink and dunk. I thought Brock Purdy had a noodle arm. I thought Brock Purdy couldn't throw the football past the line of scrimmage. That's what I've been told for about 2 seasons, maybe even beyond that. But now you have Brock Purdy doubling the air yards per attempt by Patrick Mahomes. But it's not just there. There's more. Purdy has averaged 9.1 air yards per completion compared to Mahomes' 3.6 air yards per completion. That is an insane difference. And not only that, Brad, he gets all the yak yards. You've got the yak kings. You've got George Kittle. You got Debo Samuel. You got, not Christian McCaffrey. I guess he's been hurt all year. But you got Brandon Ayuk. You got all these yak merchants out here. Of course, all his yards and all these numbers are skewed because of the yak, right? Well, Brock Purdy has the lowest percent of pass yards from yak, 32.8, in the NFL. Guess who has the highest? Patrick Mahomes has the highest at 66.7, coming on of his yards percentage coming from yak. What an unbelievable set of stats. Obviously, I'm not a huge stat guy. I'm a big film guy, so I like watching the tape. But these stats are absolutely insane, and the tape bears it out. Brock Purdy is absolutely pushing the ball downfield more than he ever has, and not only for himself personally, but he's doing it at a clip that is leading the NFL. He is leading the league in a lot of major statistical categories. And when you're comparing him against who I think a lot of people consider to be the best quarterback in the league right now, he is doing things at a very high level. Now, I also want to be very clear that, just because we have these stats doesn't automatically make Brock Purdy better than Patrick Mahomes, all of that kind of stuff. But I do just want to share this because it's again another indication of how well Brock Purdy is playing. And again, having to do it himself. To me, what he is able to do and how he is doing this without the yak yards, with having the lowest percentage of his passing yards coming from yak in the NFL, that's crazy, right? Because I think we could all kind of wrap our head around in the previous years that, like a lot of his production, he was getting a lot of good after the yards action from his playmakers. They were able to make plays and they were able to scheme it open. But this year, we've heard a lot of negativity about the scheme. We've heard a lot of negativity about Kyle Shanahan. There's been a lot of injuries. Brock has had to play without Debo, without Kittle, without CMC. And he had to play with Brandon Ayuk, who was clearly feeling the effects of not having a training camp. So this guy has been having to do it with Jawan Jennings, Jordan Mason, and a bunch of other guys, and it's just been remarkable how well he's playing. That's why I find it laughable that anyone takes time out of their day to try to diminish what Brock Purdy is doing underneath these circumstances, even considering or even saying that like he isn't playing in the moments that he's not playing that well. Like I would say the game against the Minnesota Vikings was probably one of the worst games of his career, just of how he played and how he went through that game, energy, reads, all throws, all the different types of things. But what we talked about from watching that film was we saw the glimpses. We saw, okay, we saw the quarterback that we know Brock Purdy is. And ever since that game, ever since that fourth quarter where he was doing everything he could to get his team back into it, since then he has been on point and he has been playing with that energy ever since. We came on this show, we came on this channel, and we said, my challenge to Brock is to play how he played at the end of that Vikings game, but for 60 minutes. And since that game, he has played that way. He has played with that fire, that intensity, that focus, and he is doing an amazing job. And even in the loss, even against the Cardinals, he was still playing well. He just had the ball bounce a couple bad ways on him, and a couple things here or there, but it was really not that big of a deal. And to be able to see the way he's rebounded from all of these games, all of these moments throughout the year, and then to see it compile into stats like this, where obviously he is going up against Patrick Mahomes. This will be, he's played against Patrick Mahomes multiple times. The first time he ever played in an NFL regular season game action came against the Kansas City Chiefs in 2022, and we know what happened last year. So we have some experience here, but what I think is really cool is, again, one of the main things that I've been talking about with Brock Purdy and his game is the evolution of his game. You can see his game evolving all throughout the season. You can see him pushing the ball downfield much more than he ever has. You can see him using his legs to create and escape and extend more than he ever has. He is still a developing quarterback, and I don't know how many times I have to explain this to people who continue to try to evaluate him as if he's a college quarterback, and oh, well, he was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. It's like, yeah, well, your draft status doesn't define who you are as a player in the NFL. That's why you have a lot of great players, Hall of Famers who have been undrafted, who have been late round draft picks. It's not a exact science. So when guys like Brock continue to come in, you have to be able to try to project out what he's doing, and what he is doing is you can still project that there's still room for him to get even better than where he's been. Um, so I'm terrified to see how people are going to react when Brock Purdy gets even better than what he's doing right now. I still think the arrow's pointing up. I'm still holding Brock to the standard that he could play even better than he's playing right now, and he's playing at a very, very, very high level. But I still think there's another tier, and that tier will have him comfortably sitting in that elite category. I think he's scratching at it. I think a lot of people would consider Brock Purdy elite right now. I think a lot of people wouldn't consider him elite right now. And I've explained my criteria for naming someone elite. It's a body of work. I need body of work before I'm going to stamp someone as elite. While I will say Brock is playing like he's elite, I need the body of work. I need a full season for this year to be able to contextualize and compare against his rookie year, his second year, this year. We get that full sample size. Then at the end of this season, I will be more than happy to stamp Brock Purdy elite if he continues to play at this level and continues to even play better. So that's where I'm at. I know some people might agree with that, some people might disagree with that, but that's just my own personal the way I evaluate. For me to say someone's elite, I need a body of work, but the body of work that he's putting up is elite. So we'll see. We'll see if we can keep this momentum rolling. We'll see if Brock Purdy can continue to evolve his game and he can keep getting better. And if he does that for a full season, you best believe I'm going to be calling Brock Purdy elite at the end of this season. But I got to see the body of work. To me, that is crucial. But the stats bear out that he's playing pretty darn well. But you guys let me know what you think about that. Are you ready to call him elite? I mean, again, we all have different preferences and different standards. That's just mine. It's individualized to myself, and it's my own criteria. It's just how I operate. It's how I evaluate. I'm curious to know what yours is, and I'm curious to know what you think about these stats because they are absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.